Hey guys, it's right here, and I have another Battlefield 4 Know Your Role video. This time we're going to be going over the support class and all the different gadgets and weapons that the support class has to offer. Now I want to give a little disclaimer here first. I do not have the UCAV, that new UCAV, unlocked yet. Unfortunately, I'm playing on Xbox 360 and air superiority is unavailable on Xbox 360 right now, so I'm unable to do the assignment to get the UCAV unlocked, so I won't be posting anything about that, but there's plenty of videos available on YouTube that you can find out how that UCAV works for the support class and how to utilize that. But I will be going over all the other gadgets that they have. Now, I won't be giving any specific video on the ammo packs or ammo boxes. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Ammo boxes replenish everything. You just have to stand near the ammo box, replenish ammo, grenades, rockets, things like that. And the ammo pack you can actually throw and replenish a clip or two of ammo for somebody on the run. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into what the support class does here. Now, the support class, I believe, is named the support class really because of the ability to resupply teammates using the aforementioned ammo packs and ammo bags. However, it's actually a very diverse class with several offensive and defensive gadgets at their disposal, and really is kind of, and some people have said in other videos, it's a tip of the spear for a Battlefield 4 team. Now, it's basically, depending on how you use this class, you can really be an offensive-minded player or a defensive-minded player, depending on what gadgets and outfits you kind of use. Now, the two specific field upgrades available to this class are the indirect fire and perimeter defense upgrades, and they both kind of are similar to that. One's kind of more offensive, one is a little more defensive. The indirect fire, when you get through those levels of that field upgrade, are great for resupplying teammates, and also give you extra ammo to use for your mortar or your XM25 weapon system. And the perimeter defense is more about giving you more bullets, more suppression in the first two levels, and then they're a little more defensive in the second levels, where it gives you more claymores to be deployed, and also increases the range of your MP-APS system, your defensive system. So, and you guys will see those in use as we get through the video here. So first thing I want to talk about here is the LMGs. So let's go ahead and get into some of the LMGs here. Now, the LMGs really are the high ammo capacity, made to suppress and lay down heavy fire type weapons in the game. And as you see in these videos here, you're going to see me using several different types of LMGs. Some of them, like the Type 88, the M249, and the MG4, have 200 rounds in the clip. Now, those are basically made to really lay down a lot of fire on enemy targets and enemy positions, and do a lot of suppression effects, and really just cause a bunch of chaos and havoc amongst the enemy. However, the trade-off is that these are very inaccurate weapons. As you see here, I'm basically got my reticle on the guy, but it sometimes can be really tough, even at close range, to get kills with this weapon, whether you're hip firing or aiming down the sights, because the accuracy can be all over the place. So what I like to do when I run these weapons is typically run them with a stubby or a potato grip to reduce the automatic fire penalty, and a lot of times I'll either run a suppressor or just a standard barrel and forego any stability bonuses that maybe a compensator or muzzle brake give you, and just decide to stick with anything that's going to give me better accuracy. I'm going for accuracy to reduce any type of accuracy. And you see here, I'm using this Type 88, and I'm able to just lay down heavy fire on positions here where I had 5, 6, 7, 8 enemies coming out at one position. I'm able to just get kills and lay down suppressive fire, and just totally rain down some heavy lead on those enemies. There's a long reload time, so anytime you reload, you want to make sure you duck down and get away, and are in a safe position when you reload. So that's just a kind of a way you can use these weapons here. Running and gunning, it can be tough because, again, of the accuracy penalty that these face when considered next to, let's say, an assault rifle or carbine or even a PDW, which usually have a lot better accuracy. These tend to not have as good accuracy, but again, you trade off the amount of bullets you have in the clip, the amount of heavy fire that you have, and the ability to suppress enemies and have a suppression effect on enemies when you fire them. Now, depending on how you want to use your LMG, if let's say you're playing Rush or you're in Conquest and you're trying to defend a flag, you want to use the bipod, as you see here in these clips I'm going to show you right now. Now, the bipod basically takes away that accuracy penalty, and you are extremely accurate, meaning that if you get in the right position with the bipod, you can really just cause a lot of havoc on a team and on enemies, and kind of hold them where they're at, if not get a couple kills in the process. You'll see here in this clip, I spawn in domination, and I see, you know, 4 or 5 enemies down here in this corner. I'm able to deploy my bipod, and there's no recoil, no, you know, accuracy penalties when you have that bipod deployed. So I'm able to just lay down a lot of heavy fire and get kills, get suppression points, and really just lay them down. So that's kind of the best way, I think, to use the LMGs. Let's go ahead now and get into some of the gadgets. Now the first gadget we're going to talk about here is the XM25 weapon system, and as you see it here, I'm using the XM25 smoke. You can either use it to deploy smoke, use it as a shotgun, or use it for, which is one of my favorite, airburst grenades, and I'm going to show you a video of all those here. As you see the smoke, really if you want to best utilize the smoke for this XM25 system, you want to kind of shoot all the smoke in the same area to get more density of the smoke. The smoke currently right now, if you just shoot one separately, isn't really dense. It doesn't last that long, and this isn't really effective. But this can be a really good system to use if you're attacking on rush in a wide open area, things like that. Now here you see me using it in a more up close situation, using the XM25 dart, which is basically using the XM25 as a shotgun. It holds 5 in the clip, and you know, it works just like any other shotgun would. It works relatively well. You know, I'm not the best shotgunner, so I have some clips there of me using it, maybe not so correctly, but you get the idea. Now we're going to cover one of my favorite new gadgets for the support class. I'd have to say it is my favorite new gadget for the support class, which is the XM25 Airburst grenade. This is great for taking out snipers perched up on a rooftop like I'm doing here, enemies behind cover, enemies that are kind of, you know, stuck into a little spot and just wreaking havoc on your team. It's great for taking out enemies behind some sort of cover. It's also good for taking out light armored vehicles, helicopters, things like that. Now, as you see here, I'm playing on Zavod 11, and when I zoom in with the XM25 system, on the right side you see the little range there. It says RNG for range. When you point that little crosshair at a range, it'll lock in that range, and the airburst will basically fire and explode 3 meters behind that. So it's great for destroying snipers perched up on a rooftop, you know, any enemy behind cover. You're going to see me here on this clip use it on Operation Locker in that little Overwatch kind of stairwell area that guys like to cover Bravo from, and I'm able to just, you know, wreak havoc on them up there, get a bunch of kills, and basically force them out of that area, and thus able for us to kind of hold our position and then get in there and overtake that area. So great weapon system for doing it. I'm glad they instituted this into the game. I think it's one of the best anti-sniper, anti-cover weapons available. Now we're going to cover the mortar system here. It's a little different than it was in Battlefield 3, where Battlefield 3 you can just sit next to it, perch next to your mortar, and just fire away without ever running out of a mortar grenades. Now you actually have a limit on them. I believe it's 5. You know, without having your indirect fire, you know, bumped up, or your perimeter defense, those perks upgraded. But basically now you have a little viewfinder, as you see I'm using here, for the mortar system, and you can fire them off quickly, or you can fire them off kind of one at a time to be more accurate. And you know, works the same way as it did, except now you can actually go undercover. You don't have to sit next to the mortar system now. Great for, again, rush game types, where you want to be a rush attacker and utilize it to, you know, hit enemy targets and enemy positions and kind of cover your flags. Or if you know, like here, I was basically trying to use it on top of the roof there in Hainan Resort to get any snipers off the roof. But once our helicopter took them out, I was just thought, well, I'll just try and hit some vehicles and get some good video from it here. Haven't used it much, so I can't say that I'm an expert with it. Haven't got a lot of kills with it, but you know, it's a mortar much like it was in Battlefield 3 with a few new tweaks and into how it worked. Now let's take a look at one of the new systems in the game. This is a defensive gadget called the MP-APS system, and what it does is deflects incoming tank shells, rockets, you know, things like that from harming you or hitting the enemy. You can actually stand right behind it when it's green. It'll show you the angles in those green zones, what it's going to deflect and where it's going to deflect, and basically, as you'll see here, it deflects one of the rockets and saves one of my friendlies right there. Basically, it's got a recharge time on it. Once it turns red, it has to then recharge before it can be used again. But great if you want to set up a defensive position, or let's say if you're playing on rush and want to have, you know, some protection from incoming tank fire or rockets. Good to use in those situations. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and look at the Claymores. Much like how the Claymores were for the Recon class in Battlefield 3, and you now have Claymores for the support class. And they, a little bit differently than what they did in Battlefield 3, is now they have tripwires rather than those little red kind of sensors that go out from the sides of them. And if an enemy runs over the tripwire, as you see there, they'll get destroyed and blow up. And actually, you'll see a good one here. I'm going to set one down. I actually get taken out right here, but as the tripwires then go up, you'll see this enemy walks into it and boom, there he goes, blows up, and I get the kill. So a good you know, defensive measure available now to the support class. If you use those combined with, let's say, an MP-APS system, you can really, you know, hold down a position really well using those two kind of together. And then again, finally, you have C4. This was one that officially DICE originally wasn't going to unlock for the support class, but after a lot of fan fervor and them talking about it, they decided, yeah, well, maybe we should go ahead and give them that. So it's the last gadget unlocked for the support class, and what they did was give the Claymores first, and then you get down the line, you get the support class to unlock the C4. And as you see, the next video I do with the Recon class, similar, you'll have C4 you get earlier on, and then you got your Claymores later on down the road as the last unlock for that class. So both the Recon and support classes can unlock both these gadgets, the Claymores and the C4. That's really all I have for you guys today. Just wanted to kind of give you a rundown on what I think about the support class. It can be a tough class, especially with the accuracy to learn to deal with and those LMGs. But once you do, it is, you know, can really be a really useful class depending on how you use it, and keeping your teammates resupplied, holding down positions, and putting a lot of fire down on enemies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit like, subscribe, be sure to comment, and until next time, this is Rai. Take care.